The idea of your Hendrix Odyssey came about because we, in 2001, began thinking about how we as an institution needed to differentiate ourselves relative to all other private, small liberal arts colleges in America. We were facing a triple threat, really. The governor had cut off all governor's distinguished scholarships. At that time, we were receiving 60 governor's distinguished scholarships a year. And those were actually full rides, 60 full rides a year. And so if you can imagine, we were receiving 240 full rides a year. And the recession hit in 2001. And so what happened was we had all of those full rides go away in 1 year. We had the recession hit, which meant that our endowment decreased dramatically. And the Walton family decided to make a $300 million gift to the Walton Honors College. And they went out into Arkansas, into our traditional markets, and promised a full ride to every student who scored a certain level on the ACT or the SAT and a certain GPA. So we had an enormous threat, and we had to quickly come to terms with who are we, how do we understand ourselves, and how do we define ourselves. We didn't want to just simply put a finger up into the wind and become what the market wanted us to be. We wanted to do something that was authentically Hendrix. And so we got together focus groups across campus, and we discerned through those focus groups 4 or 5 what we called market positioning platforms. That is, things that were quintessentially Hendrix that we could take out into our student markets and test and say, does this make sense to you? Is it compelling to you? And one of those things that came up was demanding but supportive and hands-on experiential learning. And we took that out into the market and tested it, and we found it had great power, that Hendrix was known as a place that was demanding but supportive, and that it was a place where students learned by doing, and students were very socially and politically engaged. And I think part of that came from our Methodist heritage. The Methodist tradition of John Wesley is one in which the vertical and the horizontal beams of the cross come together. And action in the world is as important as contemplation and vital piety and reflection on why one does what one does. And so there was a long, deep tradition in Hendrix of campus kitty, of volunteerism, of action in the world, in the humanities and the social sciences. And of course, the strength in the sciences. 40% of our students major in the sciences. And in the sciences, there's a tradition of learning by doing, bench work. And so those things came together and were authentically Hendrix. And so it was a matter of becoming who we were, becoming more of who we were. And so that was an exciting proposition for us. And so it was really grassroots and generic to who we were. And so that's how that came about. Part necessity. Necessity is the mother of all invention.